Let's look at other countries which have many languages like India and some countries which have more languages and dialects when compared to India. The question is, are they secular like India? Let's check. Let's begin with Africa. According to most estimates, there are over 2,000 languages spoken in Africa, making it the continent with the highest concentration of languages in the world. Some sources even cite numbers as high as 3,000 languages, depending on how dialects are classified. Is Africa secular? No. In spite of having so many languages, Africa is not secular like India. Why? What could be the reason? Why is Gulzar's logic not working in Africa? Let's check Europe. Europe is a union of 27 member states and has 24 official languages like German, French, Russian, English, Dutch, Italian, Spanish, Polish, Bosnian and Hungarian, etc. Is Europe secular? Absolutely not. When Soviet Russia conducted a census in 1926, there were 191 ethnicities with almost as many languages and dialects. Are they secular like India? No. Professor Agnihotri of Linguistics Department from Delhi University says that France speaks in 24 languages, Germany in 25 languages, Spain in 16 and UK in 13 languages. Are they secular like India? No. Let's then look at countries which are closer to India, say Pakistan. In fact, I believe Mr. Gulzar was born in Pakistan. Pakistan has many languages like India. Hindi, Urdu, Lahori, Punjabi, Haryawani, Bengali, Arabic, Baloch, Pashtun, Dari and Afghani. And there are Malayali Muslims too. Why then Pakistan is not secular like India? Let's check Afghanistan, and this will shock you. Afghanistan is a linguistic diverse nation with upwards of 40 distinct languages. Currently, Persian and Pashto are the two of the most prominent and spoken languages in Afghanistan. Are they secular like India? No. There's another country, namely Papua New Guinea, with a population of just 9 million, and they will beat us hands down since there are 839 indigenous living languages spoken in the country, making it the country with most languages. Are they secular like India? Absolutely not. Let's check Indonesia, because Indonesia is home to hundreds of tribes and cultures and to more than 700 native languages. It is the most linguistically diverse nation in the world after neighboring Papua New Guinea. On Buton Island alone, there are a handful of local languages and almost 24 dialects. Are they secular like India? Absolutely not. Why is it that Gulzar logic is failing everywhere except in India? Therefore, the notion that linguistic diversity inherently leads to secularism is fundamentally flawed, and this contradiction deserves a critical attention. G.N. Devi, cultural activist and literary scholar, says that more than 2/3 of the languages in existence now will disappear by 2047, which is just 21 years from now. And I believe that there are around 3,000 plus languages that are in the endangered list currently. If India loses some languages, will Indians then lose their secular credentials and become like Pakistan and Afghanistan? Gulzar says Indians by the very nature and culture are secular. Why is he not mentioning the same about the nature and culture of people from countries like Pakistan, Indonesia, Europe, etc., even though several of these countries exhibit greater linguistic diversity than India? So it's clear that it is not because of languages that Indians are secular. There must be something profound which makes Indians secular. Could it be because we collectively love our gods any lesser than the others, because of which we are able to accept other gods easily? Or are we thick-skinned and less sensitive? Or do we genuinely feel that our gods are not powerful like the other gods? Or do we feel that our gods have not blessed our country adequately, so we accept gods from outside? By the way, Gulzar is not the only one who is ignorant of the real reasons why Indians are secular. We could add one more to the list, and that is none other than Mr. Kapil Sibal, Member of Parliament, who in a recent interaction with Shashi Tharoor on his channel said that India became pluralistic and accepting of all religions merely because large number of people migrated from Central Asia to India as they had no other place to go, leaving India with no other option but to become secular. So according to Mr. Kapil Sibal, if people had not moved in such large numbers to India from Central Asia, perhaps we would have definitely not become a secular country. Even if one were to momentarily entertain his assertion, that India's pluralism is merely a consequence of migration, the argument disintegrates the moment it is subjected to even basic scrutiny. Migration has occurred across the world for centuries, and more often than not, it has produced conflict and not cohesion. Migration by itself is never guaranteed harmony. Migration doesn't produce pluralism. If it did, the world would look very different. India is different because its pluralism existed even before migration and therefore could absorb migration easily, which is why any external influences, if they came at all, were effortlessly absorbed without altering its civilization core. Further, did these migrants arrive in such overwhelming numbers that they could physically spread across the entire length and breadth of India, such a vast and diverse land like India? Second, in what language did they communicate? India has always been a mosaic of languages, culture, and traditions. How did these migrants manage to convincingly engage with people across regions, answer the questions, and address the doubts in a way that could reshape civilizational attitudes? Third, consider the sheer difficulty of the journey. Even today, travel across such distances can be demanding. Centuries ago, it would have been perilous. Are we to believe that massive population undertook this arduous passage and survived in sufficient numbers so as to influence an entire civilization? It is far more likely that many would have succumbed to disease, exhaustion, and the harsh realities of travel. What is most revealing, however, is the underlying implication of your argument. By attributing India's pluralism to migration, you reduce a profound civilizational achievement to a historical accident. At least Shashi Tharoor was gracious enough to acknowledge a deeper and more civilizational foundation. He rightly attributed India's pluralism to the religious, intellectual, spiritual generosity of her sages. He mentioned one very important point, that is, it is only one among thousands of contributions made by generation of sages who have conscientiously sustained and protected India's secular spirit, which is, truth can be approached through many paths. This single insight among the thousands articulated by our rishis, sages, has quietly but powerfully shaped the Indian mind. Secularism born of necessity is fragile, whereas secularism born of philosophical convictions is enduring.